Thank you for finding time and visiting Osaka University live session. I'm Yuriko Takei from the International Student Affairs Division at Osaka University. We will have a presentation session and Q&A session at the end to answer your questions on live. For the presentation session, the first speaker is Regional Director of ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives, and he will make opening remarks. Next, our professors will introduce you about Osaka University, admissions information, exchange programs, and student support services available for international students. Then, we will invite two international students to share their experiences at Osaka University before the Q&A session. Now let's begin. The first speaker is ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives Director, Professor Hitoshi Hisada. Hisada Sensei, the ball is in your court.
Thank you for introducing me. Hello, everyone. I'm Hisada, Regional Director of ASEAN Center for Academic Initiatives. I'm in charge of international affairs in ASEAN region. Please allow me to say a few words for this online fair on behalf of Osaka University. First of all, I would like to give a sincere welcome to everyone for study at the Osaka University online fair, and I express my sincere appreciation to all the attendees here. Thank you very much. Though it has been very tough time due to COVID-19, Osaka University is still wanting the excellent international students from all over the world now. So we have this online fair in order to introduce Osaka University and let you know how wonderful university it is. And we would like to recruit the excellent international students in near future. Today, we will introduce many information regarding Osaka University. Also, we will invite two international students in our university for talking their experience. At last, I would like to again thank you for joining this online fair, and please enjoy it to the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hisada Sensei. Next presenter is Cho Sensei from Center for Global Initiatives. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Everyone, I'm Cici from Osaka University. First, I want to share with you the location of Osaka City. Osaka is located in Western Japan. It neighbors Kyoto and Nara, and it is the second biggest metropolitan city in Japan with a population of over 8 million. Next, please. And I'm sure some of you have been to Osaka before as a tourist or as an exchange student, but I believe that's something you may not know about Osaka City. The first is Osaka has been ranked as the second most livable city in the world by the journal EIU in this year for its stability, healthcare, culture and environment, education and infrastructure. And next one is USJ. Yes, Universal Studios Japan, located in Osaka, is one of the 6 Universal Studios theme parks in the world, opened on 2001. And the next one, I think every one of you knows about it, instant noodles. But you may not know that instant noodles were born in Japan, here, Osaka, Ikeda city of Osaka. And so there is a very interesting noodle museum here in Osaka near the Toyonaka campus. And the last one is monorail. We often call it Osaka monorail. It's a monorail in northern Osaka. It links the 3 campuses of Osaka University. Next, please. And this page is about the history of Osaka University. Osaka Imperial University was founded in 1931. However, the rules go back even further to a private academy named Tekijuku that was established in 1838 in Osaka. And we merged with Osaka University of Foreign Studies in 2017, becoming the only national university with comprehensive school of foreign studies with 25 languages. So this year, Osaka University turned 90 years old, and Osaka University of Foreign Studies turned 100 years old. Next, please. We have 3 main campuses in the northern part of Osaka and 1 center in downtown Osaka, as you can see on the map. They are very close to each other and easily accessible using public transportation. And also, we have free shuttle buses among our campuses. You can see in the central that we have a new Mino campuses, which has been moved to a new location from this April. Next, please. Let's have a glance at our new Mino campus. Very beautiful, right? This is some pictures taken by ourselves. And I want to share some facts and figures about Osaka University with you. As one of the best comprehensive research universities in Japan, we provide the world's most advanced education and research opportunities. Not only undergraduate and graduate schools, there are also university hospitals, university libraries, and 23 research institutes, centers, and facilities. OU is a large-scale national university with more than 15,000 undergraduate students and more than 8,000 graduate students and more than 7,000 faculty members. It's about our schools. We show this that on the last page that we have 11 undergraduate schools and 16 graduate schools. This schools covers a lot of majors like social sciences, humanities, law, medical school, dental school, engineering, IT, natural sciences, and so on.
Thank you, Cho Sensei. Next presenter is Clement Sensei from Center for Global Initiatives. Please go ahead.
Thank you. First, I'm going to explain the 4 strategic research areas of our university. So although we are a comprehensive research university, we are strategically promoting research in the fields of basic and applied immunology, frontier medical science that deals with translational and reverse translational medicine, stem cell application, and others. And then we also have the symbiotic intelligence system that deals with fields in robotics, neuroscience, and human-robot interaction, and quantum information science and quantum biology. Next, please. In Osaka University, the field of immunology is embodied in IFRAC, short for Immunology Frontier Research Center, where prominent scientists in the field lead forefront laboratories. IFRAC scientists have won prestigious international awards and prizes for their research achievements. Next, please. The Integrated Frontier Research for Medical Science Division is a part of the Graduate School of Medicine that focuses on translational and reverse translational medicine, especially on the clinical application of stem cells. The center is headed by Professor Nishida, an ophthalmologist that leads a medical team that performed the first transplant of cornea made from the induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPS cells, derived directly from the patient. Another prominent scientist in the center is Professor Yoshiki Sawa, whose team conducted the first transplant of heart cells made from iPS cells. Next slide, please. Next, the CISREC, this is a center in our university led by Professor Ishiguro, who is well known as the father of humanoids. He leads a team of robot scientists and engineers, neuroscientists, as well as social scientists in conducting integrated research in human-oriented robotics. Professor Minoru Asada, a renowned robot scientist who also serves as the president of the Japan Robot Society, also acts as a director of this center. Last but not least, the Center for Quantum Information and Quantum Biology is where scientists from multidisciplinary fields work on the development and improvement of quantum computing algorithms and the application of quantum computing in biology and chemistry. The center is led by Director Professor Kitagawa and Deputy Director Professor Fuji, both of which are well-known quantum computing scientists. Next, please. Okay, so next topic. We are also proud to be a research university that has close relationship with the industry. Although there are many schemes of industry partnership, here I show an example of comprehensive partnership that covers all stages of research from basic to applied ones. We have concluded 3 large partnerships, 2 in the field of immunology with Chugai and Otsuka pharmaceutical companies, and 1 in information technology with Daikin Industries.
Thank you, Clement Sensei. Next presenter is Aliuna Sensei from Center for Global Initiatives. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me introduce our overseas centers and networks. We have 4 overseas centers, as you can see on the slide, 1 in Groningen, the Netherlands, in Bangkok, Thailand, Shanghai, China, and California, US. And these centers facilitate academic and student exchanges. So if you're in these countries, please check our centers. Next slide, please. We also have 4 overseas centers. So as you can see, we have a campus at Vietnam Academy of Science and Technology, at Mahidol University in Thailand, at Bandung Institute of Technology in Indonesia, and National Universities of Brunei Darussalam in Brunei. And we offer various joint or other programs through these campuses as well. And next slide, please. So as you can see on this slide, you can see some number of our international exchange. We receive international researchers from large number of countries. About 50% of them come from Asia. And also our international students largely come from Asia. About 80% come from Asia. However, they represent over 109 countries and regions. And our international students is about 12% of our total student population. And also our international and domestic students can study in other countries. So they go to large number of different countries. However, during the pandemic, not many students are able to go overseas. Yeah. Next slide, please. So you can study at Osaka University in Japanese and in English. However, most programs, if you are studying in Japanese, all our undergraduate and graduate programs are available for you. We have a few programs in English, 2 programs at the undergraduate degree program. One program called Human Sciences International Undergraduate Degree Program is entirely taught in English. And the other program, International Undergraduate Program in Science, is taught first in English, then in Japanese. We will explain these programs later. At the graduate level, we have 12 programs, master's or PhD programs, at 4 different graduate schools in science, engineering science, and information science and technology. And we will introduce these programs also later on. We have few exchange programs in Japanese and English, and we will also talk about this later. Next slide, please. So for students interested in studying at Osaka University for undergraduate level, you can come here as Japanese government-sponsored students. So in that case, you have to contact the embassy or the consulate in your country or region, and then come here and take the preparatory education and take entrance exam at the school of your choice. Or you can come here as privately funded students, international students. So there are 4 different choices, as you can see on the slide. So one is you can take this so-called entrance examination for privately funded international students. You have to take EGU exam and send paper application and take the exam on site. However, we also offer so-called special entrance examination for international students living overseas. And this pathway allows students to apply online. And I will explain this after this slide. Also, if you are interested in our English taught program or our bilingual program, you have to apply directly to the programs and check their websites. Next slide, please. So let me now introduce the special entrance examination for privately funded undergraduate international students living overseas. Next slide, please. So this program basically allows students, international students, to take admission assessment and interview without visiting Japan online. And if you are accepted, you will first have to take 6 months preparatory education in the Japanese language, but also in other subjects that would help you later on when you enroll into your undergraduate schools. And for this, and if you are successful with excellent academic performance and a good score on the admissions test, we offer a limited number of scholarships, and that is about 80,000 yen per month for 1 year. And that starts when you enroll the undergraduate program after the 6 months of preparatory education. And for the students through this pathway, we guarantee a dorm, a room for 1 year. So you don't have to worry about the dorm. And at the bottom, you can see the Center for Japanese Language and Culture. And in Japan, there are 2 so-called CGLC centers, and one is located at the Osaka University. And so if for the 6 months preparatory education, you will be studying here. And then the picture on the right side is the dorms, the new dorms that just newly opened. So who can apply through this pathway is, it's only available for international students. So those with Japanese nationality, including dual citizens, or those holding permanent residence will not be eligible. And you have to have a very good Japanese language proficiency. So you have to prove that you have, so you either JLPT N1 or N2. And you should be completing your 12-year primary and secondary education abroad by September 30, 2022. So by next year, you should be completing your program. This also allows students who lived in Japan in the past. So for this pathway, you have to be living in foreign countries for over 1 year at the time of the application. So as I mentioned before, for this, you don't have to take EGU exam or other entrance examination. And however, you have to write a personal statement about why you want to study at Osaka University. And it's about 800 words in 800 letters in Japanese. So here you can see the list of application requirements. You can find the application form from our website that I will send you shortly in the chat. And you have to have Japanese language proficiency, and you have to receive a letter of recommendation. So we will receive online application during the first 2 weeks in October this year. And then if based on the documents that you submitted, if you are successful, you will be invited to an interview. And then the successful applicants will be announced by late March. And then from then on, if you're successful, if you're admitted, then you can prepare for your departure, and you will be coming to Japan next October, and then take 6 months education courses, and then start your undergraduate program from April 2023. So as we mentioned, we have 11 undergraduate schools, and this pathway allows you to apply to 10 undergraduate schools, except School of Science. All programs are available through this examination. So here you can see the website where you can find all the application documents, list of applications. And if you have any questions about admissions in general, you can send us an email to this email address. And that's all from me. I will send this email and also website to the chat now.
Please go ahead, Kim Sensei.
Yes, hello everybody. So I will introduce International Undergraduate Human Sciences International Undergraduate Degree Program. Next slide, please. This program is for undergraduates, it is taught fully in English, and so we have three main. The umbrella school is human sciences, but we have three main specialties or majors inside the this major inside human sciences for English. It is diversity and inclusion studies, it is Japan studies, and it is political and global studies. So diversity and inclusion, it is talking about health issues, it is talking about inequalities in the society, and about educational issues. Japan studies, as you can see, it is, you can guess from the name, it is about everything related to Japan, politics, history, society, culture, and all topics that are in humanities that are related to Japan. And political and global studies, this side is also, we have focus on Japan, but we also are talking about like global issues in the world that are related to world society, world economy, and environmental issues, and so on. So these are three interrelated programs. It doesn't mean that from the beginning when you enter, you have to choose. You will have first all these foundational subjects, and after you study a bit, you can switch your major. And what will eventually happen is that you will have to choose one of the directions and make your write your final dissertation related to that topic. So what is happening after our graduates, undergraduates finish their studies? I think we have about 40% of undergraduates going to graduate programs. They do not go to graduate programs only in Japan. It's very popular for them to actually proceed to the UK recently, and some go to North America, Canada, and US, mostly US, and a lot of students go to the UK universities. So it's like UCL, Oxford, and I think London Business School. So these were, and inside Japan, we have, of course, main destination after is Tokyo University, Kyoto, and Osaka University, of course. So these are the destinations if they go to postgraduate studies. If they go to work, they usually go to companies that are related to international companies that require their experience in Japanese and English language, because when they graduate, they have very good command in Japanese language. And so we have a lot of them joining international companies actually in Tokyo. So like Google, Rakuten, and what else? JAL, ANA. So like the areas of like companies that they join are very like broad. So we do not really, it is not really related to one particular strain of companies. It's like very broad. It depends on students' interests. And what else is about our program? It is we use learner-centered approach, which means that we have very small like number of students in classes where we can communicate with them, and we have a lot of discussion-based classes. Our students also can do their own research projects while they're studying. What are these research? Osaka University supports undergraduate research projects, so you can apply for competitive funds and actually try to get like research funds. Like it is small research fund, but to conduct your own like research project and see how it goes, and work with professors closely and actually experience what is it to be a researcher. And also we we ask our students to like one of the requirements for them to graduate is to write their own dissertation. And dissertation, again, they will have 2 supervisors, and we spent like 1 year and a half like in order to actually lead students to get to the dissertation. And we also very diverse faculty and very diverse student members. So as such, we have like people from all over the world, and it's not only one particular country. We kind of like we have very good combination and very good balanced international body of students. And we also have like in our classes, it is not only students in our program because it is very small. Annually, we accept about 14, 15 students. What is happening is they usually take classes with exchange students, with students from Osaka University who study in Japanese language but want to take English like classes, and so we have like a lot of like possibilities for them to actually have exchange. Next slide, please. So this is the schedule for our admissions procedure for 2022 September. It starts on December 1st, and it doesn't mean that you need to start on December 1st because we already opened our application requirements, so you can already start your preparations. And what it means that it starts on December 1st, it means that you can actually already send your documents. And I would recommend you to do this as fast as possible because, as you know, it is Corona, post is very slow, so it's better if you do this faster. What you need to do is to submit the application materials that are on our website. I'll show you the address later. And it has to be sent electronically and by post. Also, you have to pay admission fees by January 7th. So please be careful because admission fees should be paid earlier than actually your documents should be sent. So January 7th for admission fees, and then January 18th, last date for your application received by post. And then from that on, we will start reviewing all the applicants, and those of you who will who will be invited to interview, who we want to invite to interview, will be contacted in February. If we do not invite you to the interview, it doesn't mean that you are not accepted. Like we will announce that you are in the like list, and we might contact you, and we might not contact you for interview because like for some of the students, if we are familiar with the school, if we are familiar with the their predicted score, their education, we might not interview like some students. But of course, majority, like especially schools from like overseas that are not international schools inside Japan, we usually don't know them, and we usually interview students from those schools. By mid-March, we will finish all the interviews, and then we will send you either offer or like conditional offer, or we will announce whether you're in the waiting list, whether you made it or not. And if you made it, if you got conditional offer or offer, you will have to respond by May 6th, and then all the payments and procedures, final procedures, should be done from June to August, and students move into the dormitory in the end of September. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have, this is our student council. If you're interested in our program, if you want to learn more about us, you can visit our student council page on YouTube, and there is Instagram. You can also contact them, and you also can search for Osaka University like human science program, so you can familiarize yourself with the program and with our curriculum and application procedures. And next slide, please. And thank you.
Thank you, Kim Sensei. Next presenter is Clement Sensei again. Clement Sensei, please go ahead.
Thank you. Right, so I will introduce the International Graduate Program in Science, or IUPS in short. Next, please. So this is a bachelor's program in science, And students of this program are allocated in the Department of Chemistry or Mathematics or Physics. Although in the first year, students are going to study more general science courses, but in the later years, they will be more specialized in one of these three branches of science. The coursework starts mainly in English for the first years and continues mainly in Japanese in the later years. And with this, we hope that our graduates will be ready for further studies or work in Japan. For assessment of the admission process, the scientific assessment of the entrance examination will be in English, except for the Department of Mathematics, which will be done in English and Japanese. And you will also require some elementary level of Japanese proficiency, which should be about the level of entry in JLPT or higher. Students entering this course will have a preliminary intensive Japanese language course at Osaka University for the first 6 months before they're enrolled in the core undergraduate program. And the total duration is 4.5 years, and we have small class sizes. For example, in the year 2001, we only have 12 students studying in this program. Next, please. Right, so the 6-month preliminary program consists first intensive Japanese language classes, about 3 to 6 hours per day, and a few science classes in Japanese with the goal for the students to get accustomed to Japanese language use in science. And the content of these science classes is at the level of Japanese high school science. And the structure of the 4-year core basic program is very similar to that of the regular program in Japanese for Japanese students. So in the first and second years, students are going to get general education, including more Japanese. Second year, some core major subjects. Third year, specialized major subjects. And the fourth year, research in the laboratory. Next, please. Right, what are the requirements to apply to Iups? First, you need to complete the application form, which can be downloaded from our website. Then you need to send some documents certifying eligibility for application. You also need some letters of recommendation from the principal of your high school or a senior science teacher. And you also need to submit results of standardized tests for university admission. It can either be a national standardized test of your country, which can be in your own language, which has to be translated to English or Japanese. An examination for Japanese university admission for international students, or EJU. You need to take chemistry and physics for science, and also course 2 for mathematics. You can also submit a test of SAT in chemistry, physics, and mathematics too. For the deadlines of enrollment for the application for enrollment in October has not been decided yet. Probably will be in February to March next year. And final results will be out in May to June next year. Next, please. You also need to write two essays. So the first essay will be about why you wish to study in the program, and the second is about what topics in science has captured your imagination recently and why. Right. So next, you need to pay for the application fee, send a copy of your passport, a certificate of your English language proficiency. You have some options here. You also need to submit the certification of Japanese language proficiency. Yeah, so it can be a JLPT test result or a document certifying that you have the Japanese level of proficiency similar at the level of N3 in JLPT or higher. Next, please. Right, so this is the selection flow. First screening is based on documents. The second screening will be in-person assessments. Now, this can be done on-site or online, and will probably be done in May 2022. On-site, it can be in your country, or you have to travel to one of these places in Osaka, Bangkok, Berkeley, or Groningen, depending on where you are living now. You will have science assessment in English and Japanese for math, some simple assessment of Japanese proficiency, and you get the result in May or June 2022. Next, please. Right, so next is about graduate level. So how can you apply to a graduate school in Osaka University? Now, the most important step that applicants have to take is to find a supervisor who will guide them in their study and research. Now, many applicants find this step quite difficult, especially if they do not have prior connection with the professor. Now, in some cases, the professor does not even reply to the applicant's email because they're too busy. Now, to simplify this process, you You can see at the bottom here, Osaka University has established the Ryumong system. This is an admission support system for prospective international graduate or research students, where applicants can register their data and have their application details delivered to the prospective supervisor. Now, this system is only available at this time for Chinese students, but it will be expanded to all countries in October this year. Right here, you can see the list of graduate programs in English that we are offering. Now, as you can see here, we have more graduate programs in English than undergraduate programs. And the school, for example, the Graduate School of Science has 2 graduate programs. Engineering Science and Information Science Technology have 1 program each. And the Graduate School of Engineering has 8 programs. I hope you can find a program that can fit your educational background and study interests. And you can find more details by scanning the QR code of the English program pamphlet here. Next, please. So at the graduate level, we also have double degree programs with our overseas partner universities. So there are 38 programs in total, and students from the universities on this list can apply to these programs to study at their home university and at Osaka University to obtain master's or PhD degrees from both universities. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Here I want to show you that we have global villages for international students. Here you can see this is what the pictures what we took. International students usually live in the dorm in the first year, and we have office on campus that help with finding other apartment. There are a number of dormitories near campuses. From last October, we have 2 brand new dormitories named here, Osaka University's Global Villages, offering new housing facilities with an enjoyable international living environment. Here you can see from the pictures, students have shared common area that has kitchen area, dining space, restroom, shower room, laundry machine, and so on. And you will also stay in the private room that has bed, desk, closet, air conditioner, and so on. You can move into the dorm the same day you arrive in Japan with just 1 suitcase. And to support our students, Osaka University have student centers and also support office for international students and scholars. We have 3 student centers, 1 on each campus. Here, students can receive all kinds of support to adjust to student life, apply for financial aid or tuition waivers, or participate in extracurricular activities, or even learn about employment opportunities. And we also have a support office for international students and researchers. Now here you can check about various activities and supports from the center, including guides for new incoming students, students with families, and about the visa, and so on. And we also have, for students, we also have the Career Center. The Career Center provides training in career education so that our students can acquire the knowledge, skills to find jobs and thrive in the world outside the university. Also, it organizes events such as job fairs and offers counseling service to help students search, apply for, and get jobs. Next, please. And here we want to share with you some data on our international student careers. Please look at the graph here. Most of our OU alumni are either being employed or going on to higher education. And many of them have found a job at the companies listed here, such as Panasonic, Nissan, and other companies here. Next slide, please. And for further information, please visit our website. And also, next, please. We also have social media official channels, such as you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Weibo, and so on. If you have further information, questions about Osaka University, please feel free to contact us at this email address. That's from me. Thank you.
Well, thank you all the presenters. Here we have 2 international students to share their stories about studying at OU. Ms. Tian Tian Gan from the School of Human Sciences and Mr. Johannes Nikolaus Vivasana from the Institute for Protein Research. Gan-san and Nico-san, thank you for joining us today. Could you please introduce yourself and start your presentation? Cool.
So thank you so much for your lovely introduction, Ms. Take. And hello, everyone, especially hello to our viewers who have been tuning in for today's session. And my name is Nguyen Thịnh Thiên Nguyen, and I'm a student come from Vietnam. And currently, I'm a fourth-year student majoring in ethology at the School of Human Sciences. And today, I'm very happy to share with you a little bit about my story here at Osaka University. So my journey actually started in 2017 when I first knew about a program called CHEGA, CHEGA, as you can see from the screen. And I believe this is the special entrance examination for students living overseas, as Aruna Sensei introduced early on. And the number one reason for me to choose this program was because it was a program that you can study 100% in Japanese, and also the time when you apply to when you actually enroll at OU was very short. So I believe it was about 1 year for me. But that being said, because the time was very short, then the preparation process was indeed very hectic. And after I successfully applied for CHEGA, I had to attend a 6 month of intensive course at the Mino campus of Osaka University, where I learned, academic Japanese and even math, Japanese history, and so many other skills that would later become very handy for my next 4 years. And that's how I got here. And finally, last but not least, I would like to share about my favorite thing here at OU. So as you can see from the picture, at OU, there is such a diverse and strong community of international students. And before COVID, actually, if you walk around the campus, you would see people almost from every continent. And here we have something we call BSP, which stands for Brothers and Sister Program. And it's a program where you can, hang out with other international students, throwing parties together, and also go picnic. Yeah, so I think it's a very great place to, get to know each other, having fun, and also networking. So I've been here for, almost 4 years now. And to be honest, it was 4 years with a lot of ups and downs. But, in hindsight, I have to say that, it has been an amazing and rewarding experience for me. Thank you.
Thank you for the brief introduction. And I would like to thank all the organizers for the invitation to deliver this talk. So, all right, so I'll briefly introduce myself. My name is Nico, and I came from Indonesia. Currently, I'm a second-year master's student, so this is my last year in Osaka University, in which I am currently studying biology. So, a really brief introduction about myself is that I have spent around 4 or 5 years in Japan, actually, in Osaka University. And I started here from undergrad. So I firstly entered here through the CBCMP program, which was the chemistry and biology combined program for the international program for undergrad. Unfortunately, the program is not here anymore, and it was superseded by the newer Iups program, I believe. So, and then I was when I was in undergrad, I was fortunate enough to be offered the university recommendation max scholarship, and after that I applied to the graduate school as well. So I went to the graduate school of biological sciences, and this time I joined the normal Japanese program. So in those 4 years, I was pretty much able to understand quite technical Japanese, and I entered master's program, in which I had to look for other scholarships, in which I was also really fortunate to get some external scholarships from some foundations. And after that, I'm planning to continue my PhD, but I'm not really sure yet where I'm going. So this is a part of my story, and if you would like to look more into my story, I've actually put a lot of my stories in my website. If you can check it there. All right. So just also a brief introduction on my lab. So I've been doing research since my 4th year in undergrad. So my lab itself is in the Institute for Protein Research, as introduced before. So we're in my lab, we try to combine both mathematical and biology, mathematics and biology, to understand biological systems, in which our lab is quite an international lab, and we have a lot of collaborations from all around the world, in which it was really fruitful. So going to my research, why Japan, why I chose here, and why I really like it here is because the facilities and opportunities. So here I get a lot of opportunities to perform research, go to international conferences, and go to conferences. A lot of laboratories here, a lot of institutes in Osaka University. We really have really good facilities, and it can really push you to do independent research. So I think it's a really good research university. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience from let's say from a science student perspective, and I would like to thank everyone. Yeah.
So Human Science International Undergraduate Degree Program is a G30 project program. So if that's what you were asking about, and I explained about it already, another thing is your question is a bit, I'm not sure which major you are interested in, but I think, so for undergraduate schools, and I think it will be interesting for many students, there is Human Sciences and Iups. These are 2 programs that either combined English and Japanese or full English programs. And also for Human Sciences, if you are planning to apply, we usually do not provide scholarships from the beginning, from the very beginning, and you cannot apply for scholarships with our program, but we have annually some scholarships, and our top students receive this, but we cannot really guarantee this, and we cannot really say for sure. That's why we do not really do this. So what usually is happening, students enter Osaka University and then either apply by themselves for scholarships, or we recommend them for scholarships, or if they are top students, and if we have this maxed scholarships for our program students, then we provide them. And yes, and for the procedures, you can check Human Sciences International Undergraduate Degree Program, so you can see whether you how to apply. Yes, thank you.
For Nico-san, how did you get the maxed scholarship?
So yeah, basically it was so I entered through the CBCMP International program. So after that, I think from what I understood is they have slots for the max scholarships for the university recommendation. So they chose some of the students from our program to receive the scholarship. And after that, I had a round of interview with the professors, and after that, I received the scholarship. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I can answer another question. So yeah, so the question is, does Osaka University accept international undergraduate applications from IB or A-level students only? Because there are many other standardized high school programs offered in other countries as well. I guess it will depend on the program. For Human Sciences undergraduate program, you can check our application documentation, and whether your standardized program is listed there, because we do not only focus on IB or A levels. And if it is not there, you can contact our administrative office They usually respond pretty quickly and explain which country you are from and what standardized tests you have, and we will see. And we can discuss this. Thank you.
Is there a medicine program for undergraduate? Anyone? Clement Sensei?
If you are talking about a medical school program to become a medical doctor, yes, there is, but it's going to be in Japanese. You can enter, international students can enter this program through the EJU course or route, or through the special entrance examination for international students living overseas, because the School of Medicine also accepts students through that route. However, I think the qualification is very strict, and the screening process is also very strict, because the medical school is actually a very popular school in Osaka University.
Okay, another question. Is there any travel or tourism courses available at Osaka University?
I don't think so.
Can I answer one more?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. A-level exams is A-level exams mandatory for undergraduate program? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. If it is human sciences, it is not mandatory. You can it will depend on which school system you study at. We would have this in the in the application form, so you can check which system you belong to. And if you just study in a regular school in your country, that is fine too, as long as we have your credit record, yes, your grades, that will be fine. Thank you.
Okay, another question. Do you have AI or computer courses? Clement Sensei again?
For undergraduate or graduate levels?
It doesn't say specifically, but I think it's undergraduate.
So I'm going to make some assumptions. Undergraduate, AI, we don't have an AI specialized course undergraduate, but students can actually enter the Graduate School of Engineering Science, where there are actually quite a lot of robotics labs and AI-oriented labs there. And also there are some Japanese, but they're all in Japanese, okay? Also in the School of Engineering. For the graduate level, can you please share the list of graduate programs? Right. So if you look at the third, that one, Special Program of Engineering Science 21st Century. This is a program where you can actually go into to study at the robotics labs in Osaka University, and this program is in English.
Is it necessary to provide question from Elodie? Is it necessary to provide a standardized test such as ACT, SAT, IGC, CSE score to apply for undergraduate program in human sciences? It is not necessary, as I already said. The same as for IB as well. I'm sorry, the question jumped. So you can submit records from your school system. And another question, again, also probably for human science program, can I ask my 10th grade social science teacher for recommendation letter? Do you accept it? Well, if you are if this teacher knows you very well, it will be acceptable. But usually what we ask is teachers who know you very well at this point of time. If you are still in touch, if you are connected somehow, like by circles or by some activities, that will be great. What we want to know is general information about you. So as long as this teacher can provide this information to us, that would be great. Thank you.
There was a question about Ryumon portal for contacting professors. So basically, it's an option for students. It's not mandatory to go through this portal. So if you have trouble contacting the professor that you are interested in, or if you sent some email but you haven't received any responses, or you don't know what to send to the professors, then you can apply through this portal. and then helps you collects your documents and send it to the professor, and then the professor give permission for the students to apply to the program or not. Hope it makes sense.
Thank you. Okay, Jo Sensei, do you have any questions that you want to answer?
Yeah, I think there are several questions about if we have a major like arts. I want to answer about it. I think it's not only art itself. We have art history, focus on more on the mechanism or the history analysis on art. We have this kind of major in our School of Letters. Both have undergraduate programs and graduate programs. And I think there's another question in Japanese. If it's necessary to be a research student. Yeah, we often have come up with this kind of questions. It's not 100% necessary for you to be a research student before enrollment, but actually it's a good process for you to study and learn about the how to write a paper and to get used to the research group you are in. I think it's quite a it's not necessary, but you can choose to be a research student to get used to your research life. And I think there's also another question asked for. I can't find it now. I think yeah, right. Some student asked about if he or she can use a GTest grade, a transcript to for enrollment. I think for Japanese requirement, not GTest, we often ask more on N1 or N2. So it's better for you to have a grade on N1 or N2 other than GTest. That's from me. Thank you.
Hisada Sensei, do you have any questions that you would like to answer?
For the graduate school, and do you apply for the some schools at the same time? The answer is basically yes, but at first you have to make contact with a supervisor, as a professor in your field. So you have to look for the supervisor from our website and make contact with him or her. And after that, you can contact with another supervisor. Okay, that's the answer of the question.
Thank you, Hisada Sensei.
There's a question about how will IT or CS class be done since Japan is undergoing a travel ban. So regarding travel ban, if you are an international student that already has the acceptance letter and you can complete the visa application and everything, got your visa ready and ready to come here, you can actually be admitted into Japan if you submit a negative PCR result within 72 hours before your arrival in Japan, and also undergo the compulsory quarantine period in Japan. However, the most difficult part will be to get the certificate of eligibility and also applying for visa. But it's not possible, depending on the country where you're from, actually. But it's not impossible. It's possible to come here. If you are unable to arrive in Japan before the or during the semester, some classes are actually still conducted online, and you can take these classes from your home country if really your situation is not allowing you to come to Japan.
Here is a question for Clement Sensei. Is there any biomedical science program for master's degree?
Biomedical, there are some. So for master's degree for biomedical related fields, there are several programs available. The School of Medicine has Graduate School of Medicine has a leading program, but that's I think a mixture of Japanese and English. Biotechnology also has a master's degree, and there are several labs that are working on biomedical science. For example, Kinoka lab is working on making sheets of human skin from iPS cells and so on. The Graduate School of Science also has the integrated science course, a master's degree and my PhD degree. Some labs in that program are also working on biomedical related research. Chemistry labs that are work on glycobiology or stuff like that. There are many different labs. See the websites.
Yeah, and do they have any scholarships for biomedical science program?
Depending on the program, for the the integrated science program, ISC program, I think they offer some. Wait a minute. I think they offer some university recommendation for max. If you are enrolled in that program, you can also apply for JASSO scholarship or other scholarships given by private or non-governmental organization in Japan. Please see their websites for more details.
Okay. Aliuna Sensei, is there any economic undergraduate course offered in English?
No, we don't have economics program in English at the undergraduate level.
Thank you.
If we get the max scholarship, is the tuition totally free, and is there any Japanese course for graduate students so they can communicate well in Japan? Yes, if you have max scholarship, you do not need to pay tuition fees if it is full scholarship. And yes, we have graduate school Japanese classes for it's like kind of survival Japanese, so probably it's not required, right?
And a question from Meito, is JBELT N3 considered for application to university? Anyone?
So you can, if you only have JLPT N3, you can only apply to Iups. That's the hybrid English and Japanese program. You cannot apply to the Japanese language taught programs, so that's not enough. N3 is not enough.
Sorry, may just there is another question that is related to this. How is it possible to reach JLPT level N3 for Iups before the end of applications? Are there any Japanese language courses that you can recommend?
You need to have that before the deadline of application. So you need to submit that before the deadline. However, if you cannot take the test before the end of the deadline, you can probably ask your Japanese language teacher in your Japanese language school or in your school if you have a Japanese elective course in your school, to give a letter of information that clarifies or tells us that you have a level similar or equivalent to JLPT N3, although you do not have the test results yet. We can accept that.
There is one question from Alan. What is the application flow for undergraduate? And I'm not sure which undergraduate program you mean. Can you please clarify a bit your question? Thank you.
Can I answer some questions? There were a few questions about business program or human resource program. Maybe it's gone. We have some business and management program at the Graduate School of Economics, and I sent the link to some of the questions there. Please check the website, but it's only in Japanese. And I also wonder if some of the students, if you could also click the answered questions, and I think you might find some answers similar to your questions.
Aliuna Sensei, what documents do I have to submit for CHEGA program?
So if I can show you, no. So basically, online application, if you go to the website, you can see the list of the documents and also the templates. So basically, online application and some documents that certify that you are eligible to apply through this program. And your Japanese language proficiency, so JLPT N1 or N2, N3 is not eligible, so N1 or N2, or other documents that certify your Japanese language skills. And also a copy of your English language proficiency in TOEFL, IELTS scores, personal statement, essay, and a letter of recommendation, and your passport and application fee.
Here is a question from Sukanta. How to apply for master's in your university in chemistry department? Which courses are offered for master's? Clement Sensei, maybe?
Chemistry in science.
Yes.
So chemistry in science, we have the integrated science course. Okay. So let me share you special integrated science or SISC. I'll share the website on the chat. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
But do research students get paid for participating in a research lab? How many hours do they spend in the lab and on the research in a month?
So in principle, the university does not pay research students. In contrast, research students have to pay for some tuition. But if your lab has some projects that allows the lab to employ you as a research assistant, then you can actually get some money. And it depends on the project how much you can get, but normally it's around 1,400 yen per hour for 1,000 to 1,400 yen per hour for working in the lab as a research assistant. But there are also limitations. For example, if you are coming here with a student visa, you cannot work more than 52 hours a week. 52 hours?
28
hours a week.
School times, and when there are breaks, 52 or something. There is another question, just as you're responding. For the International Mechanical Engineering Program for graduates in English, is there a minimum Japanese requirements for students and researchers?
I'm not really familiar with that program, but if it says that it's in English, then normally you do not need any prior Japanese knowledge.
Is there a portal for summer internships at the Institute for International Students? We have offices that provide information on internships, so you can apply by yourself, and it is not in the university, but you can apply for your internships by yourself. And we provide this information.
Nico-san or Gan-san, are you guys getting the tuition fees waiver?
Not me. I applied, but I didn't get it.
Oh, really? Okay, Gan-san. How about Gan-san?
You mean the tuition fee exemption?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually apply for that like every year. And I think I get like 50% off. Yeah.
50%
every time I apply.
Oh. Could you explain the procedure?
There's like an online platform for you to, upload your, information beforehand. And then after you writing down everything, and then you will print out the PDF, and then you need to bring that to the, student's office, I guess. Yeah, put it in the post.
Student center, maybe?
Student center. So I think the process is quite straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the condition, if I may ask?
There were not many conditions required by that, but you need to like write down the reasons why you want to apply for the tuition fee exemption, and you need to kind of like list up your income per month. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Kim Sensei, there was a question about psychology.
One thing for human sciences, if you want to study in English, we provide, there are courses on psychology, but they are not a big part of our program. So as I said, we have in our department in undergraduate program in English, we have mostly Japan studies, diversity and inclusion, and we have politics and international studies program. So otherwise, if you're interested in psychology, it's either you will need to study in Japanese, or as a part of our program, you can take courses on psychology in English, but that will not be your exact specialization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I answer two questions here?
Please.
So one question from Fira Aulia Agustin for the master's program in biotechnology using English or Japanese. So we have an English program for in biotechnology for the master's and PhD level, and there's also a Japanese program for that one. For the application of master program, biotechnology is necessary to use a JLB certificate. If it's in English, no. You just need to submit an English language proficiency certificate. Okay. Then is there a material science master's program or the like that focuses on solar cells? We have a master's program in applied chemistry in the Graduate School of Engineering, and that program has several labs that are working on the development of solar cells. Please see their website. So I think the name of the course.
Are there any master's program in English that focuses on behavioral sciences or psychology? In human sciences, we have behavioral science and psychology courses, but the program is in Japanese. So what I would recommend you to do, sometimes we have students who study in English, but officially the whole program is in Japanese. So maybe you can find a professor who you want to study with and check with them whether they will accept you, because for masters it's a bit different compared to undergraduates.
Thank you, Kim Sensei.
I just sent admissions guide in the chat. So for those students interested in the program overall, or if you just joined us, please save the document.
Haruna Sensei, is there any international relations major?
At OSIP, Osaka School of International Public Policy, they have some courses in English and also in Japanese. So probably they should check OSIP.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Also, some students were asking when to contact the professor or how to find the professors. So basically, if you are interested in the graduate program for master's or PhD, please check the individual department or graduate school's website about specific focus of the labs, the professors' research, and so on. But you can also find the professors through our researchers database at Osaka University that gives us small information about where the professors are, but yeah, you can find through that way. And please contact the professor as early as possible with your CVs, your past publications, and what you want to study, your focus, and so on.
There is a question, is there a master's program available in mathematics? I know we have master's program in mathematics, but I'm not sure which language. Clement Sensei, maybe you can answer this.
In mathematics, I don't think we have an English program.
21st century, I was just looking at the admissions guide, the engineering sciences 21st century program. They have like a focus on mathematical science, but it's not called degree in mathematics or master's degree in mathematics, but under the engineering science, there's this focus on mathematics. That's okay.
Another question, when is deadline for undergraduate applications? it probably will depend on the program you are applying for. So maybe check, go to the website of the program that you are applying, because there is no one unified deadline. Yeah, Riona-sensei, if you can add something about the undergraduate applications deadlines.
JASSO program, the students applying from overseas, the deadline, let me check the website. Well, the application is available for the first 2 weeks of October. So during that time, you can send your applications through this route. So October 15 would be the deadline.
Also, there are several questions about whether slides will be shared.
You're right. I saw several questions about our slide. I think we will not share our slides to everyone, but you can follow us, and we have a lot of videos and materials on our social media. And you can check Osaka University YouTube channel, and also Facebook, flow of some different programs on that.
Thank you, Jo Sensei. Another question, do you offer fully funded scholarships for postgraduate or research courses? Clement Sensei, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, in short, and it depends. But normally, yes, there are fully funded scholarships for graduates or research courses. And you just need to find the course that you're interested to apply to, and also find a prospective supervisor who will guide you through your study here. Okay.
Next, can I get the professor contact email for a civil engineering undergraduate program, and can you resend the file about scholarship for international students?
Go to the School of Engineering website and go to the Department for Civil Engineering. I think they have a contact button there, and you can click it to find the email address.
Okay.
But please understand that we do not have an English program for civil engineering.
Right. And about the file, I'm going to send it later, okay? Via chat.
Also, there was a question about how to approach professors, if there are any hints or any kind of recommendations how to contact professors. Probably, I think it is related to etiquette or some kind of ideas. Maybe Hisada Sensei can share.
We have a contact list of the faculties. There are some secretaries in the faculty, so that you have to send an email to the faculty address. So later we will share the contact list with the chat box.
Do you provide a degree of IT in undergraduate? Clement Sensei?
We do not have an English program in IT in undergraduate school. However, we have if you're interested in studying IT in Japanese, you can try to apply to the School of Engineering Science, which has a computer science related undergraduate program in Japanese.
Thank you.
There is a question about how undergraduate scholarship works. Can we briefly explain this? I guess there is no one unified system. If anybody has one kind of answer that would explain it clearly.
So I think it depends on the scholarship provider, right? I mean, if it's a max scholarship, then basically you get stipends every month from the ministry directly to your bank account in Japan. Also, if you're a max scholarship student, you normally do not have to pay tuition. Okay. For other scholarships, it really depends on, again, the provider of scholarship. Some scholarships will require you to attend meetings like for once in every 3 months or something, where you have to present the progress of your study there. Some do not. So it depends on where you get a scholarship from.
I would also add that because there is no one unified system for scholarships. Some scholarships you apply for as Osaka University student. Some scholarships, let's say, you might be recommended for by your program. If it depends again on the program that you will be in, and some scholarships you apply by yourself, and you just find information on the Osaka University list. So that's why we cannot really give you like one clear answer, and that's why it's a bit vague.
Now I'll post the contact information PDF to the chat box. Okay. Please refer that.
Another question, can I apply for a scholarship from the Japanese embassy in my country? Probably you mean mixed scholarship, and yes, you can, and then you probably need professor to accept you in Osaka University if it is master's course.
Here is a question. Do you have English program for Japan studies, master's degree? And what is the difference from culture studies under language and culture studies program?
So what will be the biggest difference will be probably the focus and specialization, whether it is linguistics, whether it is like literature, history, or sociology. In human sciences, you can also study about Japan, but from sociological perspective. In I think what you mean, it's language culture faculty of language and culture. So there it will be more language and culture oriented studies. So what the difference will be on the focus of your say undergraduate program and on the professor's focus. There is another question whether we will share slides online. So we will not share slides online, but you can visit our channel, Osaka University pages on Facebook, on YouTube, and there will be, you can access information and I guess parts of this today's presentation, right?
Also, if we couldn't answer your questions, we will answer them later, but we don't have your email addresses. So you could, we have a survey at the end, so you could leave your question there with your email address so we can answer them later.
Question, is Osaka University inclusive and welcoming to students belonging to the LGBTQ community? Anyone?
Yes. And what we even have like LGBTQ group in our university, so I guess it's not a problem, but yeah, you can check like each individual school, especially human sciences, we have LGBTQ like students, so it's fine.
Thank you. Another question, is it difficult to get admission in your university and master's program?
It depends.
It depends, yes.
It depends on the school, for sure, I think. And it depends on, well, I think it depends on a lot of things, and I don't think we can generalize that, yeah.
Right, how about you?
For me, no, it's not, because I was already here to begin with, and I know my professors. But I think one of the largest, most significant hurdles, especially for those students, international students who are trying to get education in Japanese. For example, like me, I'm in a normal Japanese course, the normal Japanese. So I took tests in Japanese with normal Japanese students. So I think that's a little bit of a hurdle. And I've also heard some people not, even though they belong to Osaka University for their undergrad, they didn't pass their entrance exam for their for a master's program in other schools. So I think it completely depends. And sometimes, well, especially for well, of course there are like international programs and there are like the normal Japanese programs, and the tests are different. So I think, yeah, it depends on that as well. And for the Japanese programs, of course, you would probably need to have a really good Japanese skills to, especially technical terms, to be able to do that. So yeah. I think that's pretty much that from me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Another question, is there a master program for human resources management or public policy? Maybe from Vidita Archagani. So you can check Osaka School of International Public Policy. Probably that's where you can find information on the topics related to your interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim Sensei.
I think there's a question. May I know, is there any tips on getting next scholarship for the graduate program? I think it depends on the field that you're applying for, but the research proposal is quite important. So I think you can study more on your background on your field, and also get well prepared on your research proposal. If you have some other.
Yeah, I think yes, it depends. Your research proposal, how you write it, and also exams. I think they're important, like when you take exams, and yeah, and professor also, because if you do not get professor accepting you, so that will be also another issue.
Is there any other scholarship other than Next? So some graduate schools have, for example, School of Science, Graduate School of Science, they said they have their own scholarships. So you need to check their the school website. And then also you can, if you haven't, you could also check JASSO scholarship brochure that lists all the foundations, NGOs that offer scholarship fellowships.
Anyone want to answer one more question?
Can I answer? Add some tips to contact professors, for example.
Sure.
As I think Kai Sensei mentioned also that professors get hundreds of emails probably every day, and not emails only from students, but also emails from their colleagues, their collaborators, their current students, scientific journals, and all kinds of emails coming. So if you, for me, I think the best way to contact a professor is if you have known this professor before. For example, if you have met him or her in a conference or something like that, that's going to be easier. Or also if you have your current supervisor, your current academic supervisor knows this professor, it's going to be much easier for you to contact and get response. Otherwise, I think that the Ryumong system is going to be a very helpful system for students who are trying to contact professors in Osaka University. And I hope that our future applicants can actually utilize this system as soon as possible. Another tip is to stand out, right? I mean, probably this professor receives hundreds of applications every term. You need to stand out. For example, if you have written a paper before, put that in your CV and send a copy of that paper. That's gonna make you stand out among other applicants. That's it.
Okay. Gan-san, Nico-san, any message or advice for future students at Osaka University?
I think one of the things is just don't give up, because you also have to be proactive. So don't rely on other people. Just look for information as much as you could, and I think that would help you in the future.
Okay, thank you. Gan-san?
Yeah, so I think that like going to study in a foreign country and experience new cultures and stepping out of your comfort zone can be quite nerve-wracking at first, but is one of our growing process. So I hope that before coming to Japan or any countries, you should stay healthy, prepare both physically and mentally, and just stay open-minded and don't be afraid to try out new things, expanding your circle of friends, and just mingle around with your communities also.
Thank you, Gan-san. Well said. Great. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us in Osaka University live session. If you have questions, please feel free to write us an email. Also, we would like to conduct a quick survey after this session. Click Continue button to access the form. It is time for us to say goodbye finally. We are looking forward to meeting you again here in Osaka in the future. Until then, please stay gold.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.
you.